Hi guys! For those of you who are interested in more build details, here's a clip from the Kinetic factory of our bridge deck being prepared for the infusion process. Here we see the components being vacuum bagged and the buckets of epoxy resin that's going to be sucked in through the foam core and the carbon fiber cloth which is resting on the mold. You may recall from our previous video that large infusion table that was used to form our bridge deck. Isn't this so exciting? Stay tuned for today's episode as we cover the last two build reports we received since we left the factory and how quickly progress is made as the construction continues. Welcome to Second Wind Adventures, where we start the next chapter in our life where retirement can be fun, exciting, and challenging.
Follow along with us as we continue to transition from our regular full-time work life to a more flexible lifestyle that includes cottage living, adventure travel, and our dream to circumnavigate the globe on a sailing catamaran.
This is us, Alina and Monty. We would love if you joined us so that we can share with you the trials of achieving our goals. Hi guys! We're coming to you from our lake house. This is our rec room actually, where we're shooting this video. And it's only, I think today, -10, isn't it?
It's pretty damn cold outside.
It's still very cold.
Yeah, here in Canada, of course. So it's a far cry from South Africa, I know. So quite a temperature difference, and you can, and some of the other changes, as you can see, I've cut my ponytail off, and my hair is now short for this video.
I kind of liked your ponytail, but I have to say you clean up really well.
Oh, thank you.
Except a little messy on that left side of your head. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I got to keep it a little spiky. Hi, so we're going to start the first part of today's video by covering what Kinetic sends us on a periodic basis for a build report. So the build report is usually a series of photos taken of our specific hull to show us the progress of the construction. So it's been a few months since our last visit in November to Neisner, where we covered the Kinetic factory. And at that stage, you may recall that one of our hulls was stored in the mold, while the other one's lying on the floor near the entrance, which you can see in the background of this first photo. This is all still part of the structural component assembly of the build process.
So this first photo also shows the perspective from someone standing on the bridge deck of Hull 4, which is the build ahead of us. You can see that, our bridge deck is on a trolley, and it's lined up with the two hulls in preparation for the bonding and the tabbing process, which is what I understand, how they use the layer of carbon fiber cloth to attach to the hulls, to the bridge deck. And then over to the left-hand side, you can see the mold table for the coach roof, which has some cell core foam lying on it.
Yeah. So moving on to the next page, they've provided a few pictures of the team demolding our bridge deck after the infusion process and lifting it off the mold, which can be seen using an overhead rail lift. You can't really, because we visited the floor of the factory, you can't really gauge the scope and how big things are in real person, because of the pictures actually don't do it a lot of justice. So in the first picture, you can see the bulkhead between our salon and cockpit resting against the wall. Due to the size of the orientation of the bridge deck too, they had to turn it over and around. So the curved part, the curved end is at the front of the underside of the bridge deck. So you're actually looking at the bottom of the boat, looking upwards, and the upward curve is actually the front part of the boat.
And you may remember that Hull 4 was also right beside the bridge deck infusion table. So they had to move Hull 4 back and then lift the bridge deck over Hull 4, which you're going to see in the next series of photos. And then they had to slide forward again on its cradle. So things, are pretty tight in the current facility, as you can see from the pictures. So moving on to the next page, we'll see photos of the team lining up the two hulls, which are supported by wooden cradles in alignment to the bridge deck, which is now on a cradle with wheels.
And in this last photo on this report, you can see the opening for the escape hatch on the inside of the starboard hull. So I believe the next steps after the attachment of the hulls to the bridge deck is the installation of the bulkheads and the girders to the interior structure of the boat, then building the tanks and fitting the centerboard cases, followed by floors, side decks, the salon window surrounds, and the coach roof, which will complete the main structural assembly. So, pretty interesting photos. Come a long way since our visit to the factory back in November.
Mm-hmm. And I think I'm correct when I say that after the structure assembly comes the primary assembly, which is basically all the components for the nav desk, helm stations, heads, showers, and so forth.
Oh my, you sound so sexy when you talk technical like that. Okay, so I have to apologize first of all because it takes me so long to produce these videos that while we were making this latest video, we received another build report for March, and so we thought we'd take you through this as well, just to show you the progress made over a period of a month, and you'll see in a second that it's quite a bit. So here on the first page of the report, you can see our hulls now. Bonded together and tabbed to the bridge deck. Actually, I don't think they're tabbed yet because you can actually see the joints still, but they are bonded. And from the side view, the starboard window cutouts have been made.
Mm-hmm. And then on the next page, we can see photos of the two main bulkheads, 3 and 5, which frame the doors and windows to the forward and aft cockpits from the salon. And they're now bonded and ready for tabbing. And also the forward cockpit, it looks like it has quite a few bulkheads which divide the compartments around the cockpit.
Yeah. And in the next photo, you can see them working on our coach roof. So you recall from one of our earlier videos, we were standing beside the actual mold. So here they're actually laying down the foam core cell sheets into the mold and around the openings for the main sliding sunroof and hatches, which is where this gentleman is placing the sheets of foam around those openings. So after the foam is in place, they'll be applying the layers of carbon fiber cloth, and then they'll be bagging it and using the same vacuum infusion process with the epoxy that you saw in the very early intro of this video.
Mm-hmm. And then here are some shots of the aft engine enclosures in the hulls. And you can see that they have been bonded, but not yet tapped. But we're getting closer to the completion of the main structural assembly process. So maybe March,
April, yeah.
They'll complete the assembly and tabbing of the main structure. And then I think it's really gonna take shape.
Yeah. So you may remember we were walking through Hull 04 when we were at the factory. We're going to get very close to what that looked like when our boat's into the next phase, probably in another month. The interesting thing about, actually touching and feeling the carbon fiber panels and components that they install is that it does feel, even though there's no paint or epoxy or gel coat on the surface, it does sound and ring completely differently, especially when you tap it with your hand. It has a much hollower sound, and it's strikingly different from when you tap a fiberglass hull.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So, just a quick update in this episode. So, stay tuned for our next episode when we spend some time actually talking with the Kinetic Customer Experience team and we fine-tuned the look and feel of our build based on the selections that you may recall that we made while we were on site with the Kinetic Factory last November. So exciting.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching.
See you next time. And if you like these boat building progress reports, leave us a comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Speak to you soon.